All right, let's get right into it. If you've ever been through narcissistic abuse, you know that the pain, it's not just in your head. It's not just emotional. There's this deeper kind of invisible wound, right? A kind of spiritual exhaustion that's just so hard to put into words. So today, we're going to lay out a spiritual map to help understand and, more importantly, heal that very real injury. You know that feeling when you feel completely drained, just hollowed out, or even kind of haunted after being around a certain person? That is not your imagination. This is something Rudolf Steiner talked about. He saw it as a very real energetic thing, a kind of parasitic influence that literally feeds on our life force. So here's the game plan for this explainer. First, we're going to put a name to that invisible wound. Then, we'll look at the unseen forces behind it all. After that, we'll zoom out to see the cosmic architecture of control. And then, the best part, we'll get into the powerful work of reclaiming your soul and figuring out your role in what comes next. Let's start by connecting the dots between what you've likely felt in your body and your mind and a much deeper energetic reality. I mean, psychology gives us words like trauma bonds, and those are great, but spiritual science, well, it adds this whole other layer of understanding that can be a real game changer. Do any of these hit a little too close to home? According to Steiner's work, these are classic signs of what he called etheric drain. See, your etheric body, that's your life force body, your battery pack. And when it gets weakened by manipulation and trauma, that energy can literally be siphoned off, leaving you with that profound feeling of being completely depleted. This metaphor is such a powerful way to get it. Think about it like this. A physical parasite drains your body of nutrients and it hides out in your tissues, right? Well, in the exact same way, a spiritual parasite drains your life force, your vitality, and it embeds itself deep inside your subconscious trauma patterns. It's this mirroring between the physical and the spiritual that really helps us understand how these unseen things actually work. Okay, so if there are these unseen forces at play, how in the world do we even begin to understand them? This is where Steiner's work gives us a kind of map, a way to see the actual anatomy of what really feels like a soul-level attack. So on this map, we see three main types of what are called adversarial forces. And it's really helpful to not think of them as, spooky demons with pitchforks. It's more useful to see them as spiritual principles or impulses that are actively working against our free, conscious human development. Now, these first two forces work like polar opposites, pulling us in different directions. On one hand, you have the luciferic forces. They hit our astral body, our world of emotions, of desires. They pull us up into grand illusions, spiritual pride, and false light. Think of that charismatic narcissist who seems so enlightened, but it's all smoke and mirrors. Then, on the flip side, you have the Ahrimanic forces. They target our etheric body, our life force, and pull us down into cold, rigid, controlling materialism and fear. This feels like constant gaslighting, endless rules, and just a total mechanization of your soul. And then there's a third one, the Asuric force. And its goal isn't just to trick you or to control you. Its goal is to completely annihilate your spiritual core, your true sense of I, to sever your soul from its divine source, period. This is the deepest, most destructive level of a soul attack. And this isn't some distant cosmic war happening out in space. The battle, just like Steiner says here, is fought right here, inside our own emotional body, inside our own soul. It is an internal fight for your own sovereignty. So now, let's zoom out and see how this very personal struggle you've been through fits into a much, much bigger picture. The idea here is that these individual attacks are actually part of a vast cosmic architecture designed for control. And this brings us to one of Steiner's most profound and, frankly, most challenging concepts. So, what in the world is this eighth sphere? First off, it's not a physical planet or place. Think of it more like a parasitic dimension, a spiritual distortion. It's a shadow world created specifically to harvest soul energy, especially the parts of us that get broken off by trauma and get stuck in illusion. That's where all that siphoned energy goes. And this points us directly to the way out. You see, the ultimate defense against getting pulled into the shadow realm isn't trying to fight the shadows. It's to turn on your own light. It's about awakening your higher self, your true, untouchable, spiritual I. Okay, so this brings us to the most important part of this whole conversation. The healing, because this journey is about so much more than just recovery. It's a kind of spiritual alchemy, that literally transforms your pain into your power and helps you reclaim your spiritual sovereignty.
So, the number one job is this: strengthening your I. And just to be clear, we're not talking about ego here, not in the modern sense. We're talking about your eternal divine core. This is the part of you that was never actually wounded. It's the part that has the power to heal, to integrate, and to call all those fragmented pieces of your soul back home.
So here is a simple but really powerful practice you can try. First, just create a quiet, sacred space for yourself. Then, speak your intention out loud with conviction. Say the words, "I now call back every piece of my soul that has been lost, stolen, or given away." As you say it, visualize that energy as beautiful golden strands of light returning to you, filling you up. And finally, anchor it. Place your hands on your heart and just feel yourself becoming whole again. This is a conscious act of will. You are commanding your life force to come home. Here's another incredible tool from Steiner's work, the Rose Cross Meditation. You start by visualizing a simple black cross. This represents your suffering, your pain. You don't fight it or try to make it go away. Instead, you imagine 7 beautiful red roses, symbolizing transformed wisdom, blooming right on the cross. And as you breathe, you see those roses expand, turning the very substance of pain into insight and strength. That's alchemy. And this is such a crucial reframe. Please really let this sink in. The wisdom didn't come from the abuse. The suffering itself wasn't the gift. The wisdom came from the part of you that endured it, the part that chose to stay awake inside the chaos, the part that refused to be put out. That resilience, that choice, that is the true source of your power. So finally, let's connect this intensely personal healing journey to a much bigger collective purpose. Because believe it or not, the work you are doing is not just for you. That fire you walk through, it wasn't meant to destroy you. It was meant to forge you. This entire journey has been an initiation. It has trained you in spiritual discernment, in resilience, in a kind of courage you never knew you had. It's prepared you for a task that you might not even be aware of yet. And what are you being initiated into? The idea here is that all of this is preparing your soul for what's called the Age of Sophia, a new era where divine wisdom, a kind of loving intelligence, becomes a living presence on Earth. And who do you think brings that into the world? It's the people who have walked through the deepest, darkest shadows and have consciously, bravely chosen the light. Your personal healing has a profound, world-changing purpose. You see, this journey has made you into a spiritual pioneer, a way-shower for others. You're not just recovering, you are preparing for the next stage of our evolution. So the final question isn't about what happened in the past, it's all about the future. The Age of Sophia is rising. Are you ready?